The galaxy had forgotten the sound of human voices. Once, human ships had sailed proudly across the stars, trading, exploring, building. But now silence ruled the void. The great human colonies were ashes, their cities turned into glowing graves. The Galactic Union had fallen, broken under the weight of endless war. Humanity had lost, or so the galaxy believed. Commander Elias Rook stood on the shattered bridge of the Horizon Dawn, watching the dying light of Earth's last defense fleet fade across the stars. His hands were cut, his uniform burned, but his eyes were cold and alive. Around him alarms screamed, smoke filled the air, and sparks fell like fire rain from the ceiling. The battle was over. Humanity's homeworld had fallen. "Commander, they've stopped firing," said Lieutenant Mara, her voice trembling. "The Zor Dominion is broadcasting a surrender demand." Elias didn't answer. His gaze was locked on the holographic screen in front of him, images of ruined cities, burning skies, and the black shadow of the alien armada orbiting Earth. The Dominion had won, but they didn't stop. They wanted more. They wanted every trace of humanity erased. "Play it," Elias said quietly. The message flickered to life. A tall alien with silver skin and 4 glowing eyes appeared. Its voice was calm, almost amused. "Humans of Earth, you fought with courage, but your time has ended. Your worlds will be repurposed. Your species will serve the Dominion or vanish into dust." The transmission ended with silence. No threat, no anger. Just cold certainty. Mara's voice broke the quiet. "Commander, what do we do now?" Elias looked at her, his face hard but calm. "We survive." The Horizon Dawn drifted through the wreckage of humanity's last fleet. Hundreds of ships, destroyed, lifeless, spinning in silence. The once beautiful Earth now burned below, wrapped in smoke and flames. Elias turned to his crew. "Send a signal. To every human ship left out there. We're not surrendering. Not today." "But sir," another officer said, coughing through smoke, "we've lost everything. The Dominion has crushed us." Elias's voice grew sharp. "Then we fight with what's left. Even a dying spark can burn the dark." The remaining human ships scattered into deep space, hunted by the Dominion's fleets. One by one their signals vanished, but some, just some, escaped. Among them was Horizon Dawn. For months, Elias and his surviving crew drifted between broken colonies, searching for survivors, stealing supplies, avoiding patrols. The galaxy had gone silent to their cries. No one answered. Every allied race had turned away. Humanity had become a ghost, an old story told to frighten children of the outer worlds. But the silence could not last forever. One night, deep in the cold darkness of the Void Belt, Horizon Dawn detected a faint signal, a human distress call. The crew gathered around the console, hardly daring to breathe. "It's real," Mara whispered. "It's human." Elias leaned closer. "Origin? Unknown system. Deep beyond the frontier. But the signal, it carries the old Earth command code." Elias's heart pounded. That code was locked away before the war even began. No one should have it now. "Set a course," he ordered. The crew hesitated. "Commander, that region is off the charts. It's a dead zone. No one's come back from there." Elias smiled faintly, the first sign of life in his tired eyes. "Then maybe that's exactly where we need to go." The engines roared to life, pushing the scarred ship toward the unknown. Outside, the stars stretched into long silver lines. Inside, silence filled the bridge, broken only by the hum of the reactor. As they entered the dark system, the signal grew stronger. It was rhythmic, pulsing like a heartbeat. And then through the static came a voice, soft, human, and full of pain. "This is Ark Station. To any surviving human ship. We are under attack. Please help us." The transmission cut out. Mara looked at Elias. "Sir," that voice, it sounded old, like decades old. Elias stared into the dark void ahead. "Or maybe," he said quietly, "we're not the first ones who tried to fight back." The crew exchanged silent glances. For the first time in months, there was something in their eyes, hope and fear. The Horizon Dawn pushed deeper into the system. Strange debris floated by, old ships, unknown wrecks, fragments of technology far beyond human design. Then suddenly the scanners went dark. "Commander," Mara whispered, "something's here with us." Elias stood tall, eyes narrowing at the empty stars. "Then let it come. Humanity may have fallen." He clenched his fist. "But we are not finished. Outside, something enormous moved in the dark, something old, silent, and watching. The galaxy thought humanity was gone, but the universe was about to remember their fire. The Horizon Dawn glided through the silent darkness, its engines barely whispering against the void. The crew stared at the scanners, watching the strange pulse of the distress signal blink across their screens, steady, rhythmic, almost alive. It was the first human signal they had heard in months, but something about it felt wrong. Commander Elias Rook stood at the center of the bridge, his arms crossed, eyes locked on the glowing display. "Increase signal gain," he ordered quietly. "Let's hear it again." Mara tapped a few controls and the static-filled voice returned. "This is Ark Station. To any surviving human ship. We are under attack. Please help us." The message repeated, broken and distorted, as if trapped in time. Dr. Havel, the ship's engineer, frowned. "Commander, that signal's not recent. The pattern's old, real old. Maybe 50, 60 years. It's looping." Elias turned his head slowly. "A ghost transmission?" "Maybe," Havel said, rubbing his chin. "But the power levels are too strong for an old beacon. Someone or something is keeping it alive." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The Dominion never left survivors, and abandoned stations didn't just keep sending messages for decades. "Course locked," Mara said. "We'll reach the signal source in 2 hours." Elias nodded. "Keep shields on standby. I want all weapons charged." As the ship drifted closer, the stars began to fade behind a thin gray mist. The void belt was full of dead systems, planets stripped by war, moons cracked open by ancient weapons. But this region was different. The light itself seemed weaker here. Even the stars refused to shine. "Commander," Mara whispered, "there's a structure ahead." The bridge fell silent. On the screen appeared a massive shape, an orbital ring half buried in drifting dust. Its metal was old, scarred, and covered in strange runes. Dr. Havel leaned closer to the screen. "That's no Dominion design." "It's human, but not from any model I've seen." The ship's AI chimed softly. "Warning! Power signatures detected. Unknown source." Elias narrowed his eyes. "Take us in slow." The Horizon Dawn crept toward the station. Its surface was cracked and lifeless, yet faint lights glowed deep within, pulsing with the same rhythm as the signal. The closer they got, the stronger the pulse became, echoing through the hull like a heartbeat. Then, suddenly, the signal changed. The message stopped repeating. The static vanished, and a new voice spoke. "Human ship detected. Identify yourself." The voice was calm, mechanical, and old. Elias straightened. "This is Commander Elias Rook of the human vessel Horizon Dawn. We're responding to your distress signal. Identify yourself." There was a long pause. Then the voice replied, "Ark Station. Guardian protocol active. Approach coordinates transmitted." "Do not deviate." Coordinates appeared on the screen, directly into the heart of the station. Mara looked uneasy. "Sir, that's suicide." "If it's a trap, everything out here is a trap," Elias said. "But if there's even a chance that station holds survivors or answers, we have to know." He turned to his crew. "Prepare for docking." The Horizon Dawn descended through the wreckage field, landing on a cracked docking platform coated in frozen dust. The airlocks groaned as they opened to reveal a dark corridor, lit by flickering blue lights. Elias stepped forward first, weapon ready, helmet lights cutting through the dark. The air inside was stale, dry, and cold. Every sound echoed. "This place feels dead," Mara whispered. Dr. Havel ran his scanner. No life signs. But the power core's still active. Something's keeping it running. They moved deeper into the station. Old human banners still hung on the walls, torn and faded, marked with the insignia of Earth's lost fleet. Everything looked ancient, frozen in time. Then suddenly the lights flickered. A shadow moved across the corridor. "Did you see that?" Mara said quickly, raising her rifle. Elias froze. "Hold positions." The sound came again, footsteps, slow, heavy. From the darkness a figure stepped into view. It was a humanoid shape, tall and armored, its body made of worn metal plates and glowing blue eyes. Elias aimed his weapon. "Identify yourself." The figure stopped, raising its hands. "Do not fire," it said, its voice calm but layered with static. "I am Guardian Unit 9, protector of Ark Station." "You are human." Elias lowered his weapon slightly. "What happened here?" The machine's eyes dimmed. Ark Station was Earth's final project. A place to preserve what remained of humanity. But the Dominion found us. We sealed the station before they could enter. I have kept the systems alive. Waiting for the signal to be answered. Mara looked stunned. That was 50 years ago. Yes, the Guardian said. 50 years. Of silence. Elias stepped closer. Why send a distress call now? The machine turned slowly toward a sealed blast door at the end of the corridor. Because they are coming back. A low rumble echoed through the station. The walls vibrated. The lights flickered red. Commander, Mara shouted. Multiple contacts, Dominion ships inbound. Elias's eyes went cold. They followed our signal. The Guardian's head tilted. Then you must choose, run and hide again. Or awaken what we left behind. Awaken what? Elias asked sharply. The Guardian's voice deepened, full of power. The weapon built to end the war. The weapon humanity swore never to use. The rumble grew louder. Outside, explosions flashed through space as Dominion ships arrived. Elias clenched his jaw. Show me. The Guardian turned and began walking toward the sealed blast door. Then humanity fights again. The door began to open, light pouring through the cracks. Inside was a massive chamber, glowing blue and silent. Something sleeping, something powerful. Elias took one step forward. What did you build down here? The Guardian looked back at him, eyes blazing. Not a weapon, it said. A promise. Outside, the Dominion fleet prepared to strike. Inside, humanity's fire was about to wake. The ground shook as the massive blast door of Ark Station opened. Bright blue light poured from within, spilling across the dust-covered corridor. Commander Elias Rook shielded his eyes, his pulse quickening. For months they had been running and hiding. But now, standing before that glowing chamber, he felt something different, something dangerous. The Guardian unit turned its metal head toward him. This chamber holds the last creation of humanity's ancient defense project, it said. Codenamed Project Sentinel. It was meant to awaken only when the stars went silent. Elias stepped closer, his boots crunching against the cracked floor. Inside the chamber was a colossal structure, half machine, half mystery. Dozens of circular platforms floated around it, glowing faintly. In the center was a massive sphere, covered in metal veins pulsing with blue energy. Dr. Havel scanned it in awe. This isn't just a weapon. It's some kind of living system. Power levels are off the charts, beyond anything we've ever built. The Guardian's voice echoed through the chamber. It was designed to protect humanity's legacy, to restore balance if the Dominion ever crossed the final line. Elias turned toward it. And what happens when we activate it? The Guardian's eyes dimmed. Then the galaxy will remember why it once feared humans. Outside, explosions rocked the station. The Horizon Dawn reported enemy contact. Dominion warships had surrounded the system. Red alerts flashed across the chamber walls. Mara's voice came over the comms. Commander, they've deployed boarding pods. We've got less than 10 minutes before they breach. Elias looked at the glowing sphere. Can it work? Yes, the Guardian said, but it requires a human command key, one that hasn't been used in 50 years. Elias glanced down at the insignia on his wrist device, the symbol of Earth's last defense fleet. Would this work? The Guardian studied it for a moment, then nodded. You carry the command of the fallen fleet. That will be enough. Elias walked up to the console in front of the sphere. The surface lit up under his touch, recognizing his genetic code. Blue energy surged through the room as ancient systems came alive. Energy levels rising, Dr. Havel said. It's waking up! The sphere began to move, slowly rotating, releasing arcs of light that stretched out like veins through the chamber walls. Holographic screens appeared, showing old human faces, scientists, soldiers, leaders, recorded long ago. One voice played above the rest. To whoever finds this, if the day comes when humanity's light fades, know this. We left behind more than ashes. We left behind our will to fight. The lights brightened and the floor shook violently. The Guardian turned its gaze upward. The Sentinel is activating. The station will not survive the ignition sequence. Then we'll hold the line, Elias said, his voice steady. Mara, prepare for defense! Through the comms, Mara's reply came firm. Aye, Commander. We'll make them bleed. Outside, the Dominion ships began firing on the station, their plasma beams cutting through the darkness. The Horizon Dawn returned fire, its rail cannons glowing white-hot as they struck back with everything they had. Inside, the Guardian's voice deepened. You must link your command signal to the Sentinel. It will synchronize with your fleet. Elias placed his wrist console onto the glowing terminal. The lights surged again. A deep rhythmic hum filled the air, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant stirring. Dr. Harville shouted, "Power surge, off the scale!" "Commander, it's linking to every human signal still active across the galaxy." "Good," Elias said. "Let them all hear it." The chamber trembled as the sphere cracked open, releasing a blinding pulse of light that shot into the sky. Outside, Dominion ships froze mid-attack as their sensors overloaded. The pulse spread outward across space, silent but unstoppable. Mara watched from the Horizon Dawn's bridge as the wave passed through them. "Sir, our systems are changing." Power readings tripled. Her second officer stared in disbelief. "Every ship with human tech is responding. It's like the Sentinel is rewriting them." The Guardian spoke again, its voice almost reverent. "The Sentinel has awakened. The legacy of humankind returns." Elias watched as the station's core grew brighter. "Then let's show the galaxy what that means." Outside, the Dominion fleet began to regroup. Their largest dreadnought approached, its cannons glowing crimson. The commander of the alien armada appeared on the comm, tall, scaled, and smiling cruelly. "Humans," he hissed. "You were supposed to die quietly." Elias stared straight at him. "We tried quiet. You didn't listen." He raised his hand. "Now you'll hear us loud and clear." The Horizon Dawn fired its main cannon, now powered by the Sentinel's energy. The beam tore through the Dominion dreadnought, like fire through paper. The explosion lit up the void, painting the stars blue and gold. The Guardian turned toward Elias one last time. "The weapon's power cannot be contained here. You must leave before the core collapses." Elias shook his head. "Not yet. Not until the others escape." The machine nodded slowly. "Then humanity truly has learned." The station began to crumble, but the Sentinel's energy wave spread faster, across systems through empty colonies, awakening every dormant human ship that still floated in forgotten corners of space. In the silence between stars, ancient human vessels came to life. Engines roared for the first time in decades. Across the galaxy, flickers of blue light marked humanity's return. As Arc Station started to collapse, Elias gave his final order. "All units, fall back and regroup. The fight isn't over. It's just beginning." The Horizon Dawn pulled away from the burning station. Behind them, the Sentinel's core exploded, sending a ring of blue light rippling through the void. Dominion ships fell apart in its wake, their hulls cracking like glass. Mara whispered as she watched the screen, "What have we done?" Elias looked out the window, his face calm and fierce. "We woke up the ghosts." And across the galaxy, those ghosts, old fleets, lost AIs, buried weapons, answered the call. The galaxy that had forgotten humanity was about to burn in silence. The stars were burning again, but this time they burned for humanity. Commander Elias Rook stood on the bridge of the Horizon Dawn, watching as blue streaks of light shot across the black void. Those were human ships, old fleets forgotten in deep space, now alive once more. Each one carried the same signal, the same purpose. The Sentinel had awakened them all. Lieutenant Mara's eyes were wide. "Sir, reports are coming in from all over the sector. Old colonies, derelict stations, even ancient warships. They're responding to the Sentinel's pulse." Dr. Haver looked at his console, shaking his head in disbelief. "It's impossible. These ships were dead for 50 years. The Sentinel must have reactivated their cores. It's calling them home." Elias leaned forward. "Then it's time we answer that call." The main screen flashed as enemy ships appeared. Hundreds of Dominion vessels, their black armor glinting like blades. The alien commander's voice came over the comm again, full of fury and disbelief. "You humans never learn. You had your chance to die with honor. Now you'll burn alone." Elias smiled coldly. "You think we're alone?" The stars flickered, and then one by one they came. Dozens of human ships dropped out of hyperspace around the Horizon Dawn, their hulls glowing blue from the Sentinel's power. They were old models, battle cruisers from the early wars, frigates long abandoned, but now they moved with deadly precision. "Fleet command to all units," Elias said. "Target the Dominion carriers. Show them what it means to fight humanity." Across the comms, voices answered in unison, "Aye, Commander." The void exploded into light. Human ships surged forward, Unleashing waves of plasma and kinetic fire, Dominion formations shattered under the unexpected assault. The Horizon Dawn led the charge, cutting through enemy lines like a blade. Inside the ship, the crew worked with grim determination. Mara's fingers flew across the controls, targeting systems online. Firing main cannon, a brilliant beam of blue light erupted from the Horizon Dawn, striking a Dominion destroyer and splitting it in half. The explosion lit the void, sending shockwaves rippling through nearby ships. "Direct hit!" Mara shouted. Elias didn't smile. "Keep firing. No mercy." For the first time in decades, the galaxy witnessed something it had long forgotten, the full fury of humanity unleashed. But the Dominion wasn't finished. Their dreadnoughts moved into formation, massive and menacing, their energy cores glowing crimson. The enemy commander appeared again, his expression twisted with rage. "You think you've won, human. You've only awakened your own doom." Behind him, something massive began to emerge from hyperspace, a Dominion supercarrier the size of a small moon. Its surface shimmered with red energy, and thousands of fighters poured out like a swarm. Dr. Havel's face went pale. "That's the Harbinger, the same ship that destroyed Mars Colony. It took an entire fleet to even scratch it last time." Elias's eyes hardened. "Then we'll finish what they couldn't." He opened a channel to all ships. "This is Commander Rook of the Horizon Dawn. The Dominion wants to erase us again. Let's remind them why they failed the first time." The human fleet roared forward, but the Harbinger unleashed its own storm, massive energy blasts that tore through space like falling suns. Several human ships vanished instantly, the comms filled with static and screams, shields down to 40%. Mara shouted, "We can't take much more." Elias gritted his teeth. "Dr. Havel, can the Sentinel energy be focused?" The engineer hesitated. "Maybe, but it would overload our reactor. We'd have one shot." Elias nodded. "Then we make it count." The Horizon Dawn turned sharply, engines burning white-hot. It dove straight toward the Harbinger. Enemy fire streaked past, tearing chunks from the hull, but the ship kept going. "Sir," Mara cried, "we're going to be vaporized." "Not if we hit them first," Elias said calmly. "Charge the main cannon to full capacity. Route Sentinel energy through the core." The ship's systems groaned. Warning lights flashed everywhere. The energy readings spiked beyond safe limits. Dr. Havel shouted, "We're going to melt the reactor." "Do it," Elias barked. "For Earth." The cannon fired. A beam of pure blue-white light cut through space, brighter than a star. It struck the Harbinger dead center, ripping through its shields and drilling straight into its core. The enemy ship convulsed, cracks spreading across its surface. Then, in total silence, it exploded, an expanding sphere of light that consumed everything around it. The shockwave rocked the Horizon Dawn, throwing the crew to the floor. Systems went dark. Silence followed. Then, slowly, the stars came back. Mara lifted her head, gasping. "Commander." "It's gone. The Harbinger is destroyed." Elias stood, his uniform scorched, his expression unreadable. "Status of the fleet?" Dr. Havel checked the readings. "Heavy losses, but we're still here, and, sir, other signals are joining the network. More human ships, hundreds of them." Elias turned toward the stars. "Then the war begins now." Across the galaxy, Dominion fleets received new orders. Eliminate the reborn human threat at all costs. But it was too late. The flame had been reignited. Old ships awoke. Buried weapons activated. Hidden bases sent out their signals. The galaxy that once ignored humanity now trembled at their return. Elias stared into the glowing void where the Harbinger had once stood. "You tried to silence us," he said softly. "Now the silence will burn you instead." The Horizon Dawn turned toward the next battleground. Its engines flared blue. The fleet followed. The retaliation had begun. And the galaxy would never know peace again. The galaxy was no longer silent. Everywhere the Dominion looked, they found fire. Human ships, old and new, struck from every corner of space, hitting supply lines, destroying command centers, cutting through fleets that once ruled the stars without challenge. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion was afraid. On the bridge of the Horizon Dawn, Commander Elias Rook stood surrounded by a holographic display of the warfront. Dozens of blue lights blinked, each one a human fleet that had reawakened. What began as a single ship's defiance had become a storm stretching across systems. Mara looked up from her console. Commander, latest reports from the frontier. Dominion forces retreating from 4 sectors. Civilian colonies are joining us. They're calling it the Reckoning. Dr. Havel gave a grim smile. Fitting name. The Dominion burned half our worlds to dust. Now they'll see what it feels like. Elias didn't respond immediately. His eyes stayed fixed on the map. How long before they realize what's really happening? Mara frowned. What do you mean? They think we're still scattered. But every fleet, every ship, every single one of us is being drawn toward one place. He zoomed out the hologram. In the center of the display, a red planet glowed like an ember. Vialtor, the Dominion's capital world. The Sentinel's pulse wasn't just awakening ships, Elias said quietly. It's guiding us here. To the heart of the Dominion. The crew fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. This wouldn't be another battle. It would be the final one. Dr. Havel swallowed hard. Commander, even with the fleets combined, Valtor's defenses are massive. Planetary shields, orbital rings, supercarriers. We might not make it through. Elias looked calm, almost cold. Maybe not. But if we end this here, no one will ever dare touch humanity again. A week later, the human armada assembled at the edge of the Valtor system. Over 300 ships, some sleek and modern, others old and scarred from forgotten wars, formed up under one banner. The signal of the Sentinel pulsed through them all, linking their systems, syncing their power. Elias stood before the main window of the Horizon Dawn. Watching the red glow of the Dominion homeworld, Mara approached quietly. It's strange, sir. We've spent decades running from them. Now we're the ones knocking at their door. Elias nodded slowly. The difference is, this time they'll open it in fear. Fleet command ready, Mara said. All ships await your word. Elias opened the wideband channel. Across every human ship, his voice carried like thunder. This is Commander Elias Rook of the Horizon Dawn. The Dominion thought they could erase us. They burned our worlds, hunted our people, and laughed as Earth fell. But humanity does not vanish, we endure. And now when we return, his tone grew harder. They will call us monsters for what comes next. Let them. We are done begging for mercy. From this day forward, no one forgets who we are. He paused. The fleet waited in silence. Then his final words cut through the stars. Humans, attack. The armada moved as one. Thousands of blue lights burst into motion, streaking toward Valtor. The Dominion's orbital defense grid came alive instantly, massive guns firing beams of crimson energy that tore through space. Dozens of human ships exploded, but the rest kept going, weaving through the firestorm. Shields at 60%, Mara shouted. We can't keep this up. Dr. Havel slammed his fist on the console. The Sentinel's network is overloading. The energy's unstable. Push it, Elias ordered. Route it through the main core. We're breaking their sky today. The Horizon Dawn surged ahead, engines screaming. Other human ships followed, forming a wedge formation. They punched through the first orbital ring, destroying defense towers with precision strikes. The Dominion fleet scrambled to respond. Their commander, the same alien who once mocked Elias, appeared again on the comms. His calm was gone. His voice shook with fury. You think you can destroy Valtor? You are dust compared to us. Elias stared straight at him. Then breathe us in. The Horizon Dawn fired all weapons at once. Beams of blue fire slammed into the Dominion's flagship, tearing through its armor. Human ships swarmed the alien vessels, fighting at close range, sacrificing themselves to take enemies down. The battle was chaos, light, fire, and death mixed in one. And then, suddenly the Sentinel pulse surged again. Every human ship's core glowed brighter. The energy readings skyrocketed. Commander, Dr. Havel shouted. It's reacting on its own. It's linking to the planet's magnetic field. On the screen, arcs of lightning began to crawl across Valtor's atmosphere. The planet itself seemed to tremble. Elias realized what was happening. It's using the planet's core as a conduit. Mara's eyes widened. Sir, it's turning their world into a weapon. The Sentinel's pulse intensified, spreading like a wave across the Dominion's defense grid. Their ships lost power, shields collapsing one by one. Pull back, Elias ordered. All ships retreat to safe range. As the fleet withdrew, the skies of Valtor erupted. Massive explosions tore through the orbital rings. Firestorms swept across the planet's surface. The Dominion capital, the heart of their empire, was consumed by its own energy, ignited by the weapon they had forced humanity to create. The comms filled with static, then silence. When the light faded, all that remained was a broken red sphere drifting quietly in space. No cheers came from the fleet. No victory cries. Just silence, Mara whispered. It's over. Elias stood still, watching the burning planet. No, he said softly. It's not over. The galaxy will come for us now. Dr. Havel looked at him in confusion. After this, who would dare? Elias turned toward the window, the reflection of fire in his eyes. Everyone. He tapped the console, pulling up a galaxy map. Across the stars, thousands of unknown signals flickered, some curious, some afraid, some preparing for war. The reckoning, he said quietly. It's just the beginning. Outside, the horizon dawn turned slowly, its engines glowing blue as the fleet formed behind it. Humanity had won, but the cost was written in fire. The Dominion was gone. The galaxy was watching, and in the silence that followed, the universe began to fear humanity once more. The war was over, but the silence that followed was far louder than any explosion. The Dominion's capital, Vaeltor, was now nothing but a burning scar in space. Its pieces drifted slowly across the void, broken towers, shattered ships, and the faint blue shimmer of sentinel energy fading into nothing. The galaxy had watched it happen. Every major empire, every trading world, every pirate fleet, they had seen humanity destroy the most powerful civilization in existence, and they were afraid. On the bridge of the horizon dawn, everything was quiet. The crew spoke in whispers, as if the stars themselves were listening. The ship's systems hummed softly, damaged but alive. Lieutenant Mara sat at her station staring at the screen. "I never thought I'd see the Dominion fall," she said quietly. "But now that it's gone, it doesn't feel like victory." Dr. Havel nodded slowly, his hands shaking. "We unleashed something beyond our control. The Sentinel wasn't just a machine, it was a weapon born from desperation. And it used us." Commander Elias Rook stood at the front of the bridge, his eyes fixed on the remains of Vaeltor. His face was unreadable, but his mind was full of questions. How much of what they had done was their own choice? And how much had been fate? He finally spoke. "The Dominion enslaved 1,000 worlds. We gave them justice. But maybe justice always leaves ashes behind." Mara looked at him. "What now, sir?" "We can't go back to Earth. It's gone. Most colonies are silent. The fleet scattered." Elias didn't answer. He walked slowly toward the command console and activated the long-range scanners. A vast map of the galaxy appeared, millions of stars, and in between them flickers of energy. Not just from humans, but from others. Dr. Havel leaned closer. "What is that?" "Responses," Elias said. "Every major race in the galaxy is moving. Some are forming alliances. Others are building fleets. We've shown them what humans can do. Now they'll all prepare for the day we come again." Mara frowned. "Then we're the monsters now." Elias looked at her, his expression grim but calm. "No, we're the reminder." The bridge fell silent again. For hours the horizon dawn drifted through the wreckage. They picked up survivors, both human and alien, from destroyed ships. The war had ended, but not everyone wanted to keep fighting. Some just wanted to live. At last the ship reached the edge of the Vaeltor system. The human fleet waited there, what was left of it. Damaged vessels, scarred hulls, but still flying. Still human. Elias opened a channel to all ships. His voice carried across the void, steady and strong. "This is Commander Elias Rook. The Dominion is gone. Humanity has paid its debt in blood and fire. From this moment we rebuild, not as conquerors but as survivors. The stars belong to no one, but we will never bow again." A long silence followed. Then one by one voices replied, "Horizon dawn. This is the Iron Spear, acknowledged. This is the Artemis, standing by. Commander. This is the Valkyrie, humanity endures." A chorus of voices filled the comms. Not victory cries, but unity. Mara smiled faintly. "We're not alone anymore." Dr. Havel wiped his eyes. "We never were. We just forgot." Elias nodded. "Then let's remind the stars who we are one last time." He gave the order, and slowly the human fleet turned away from the ashes of Vaeltor. Engines flared, blue light spreading across the darkness. Together they vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the silent grave of an empire. Far across the galaxy, in the deep void beyond charted space, a lonely station stirred. Its sensors had been dark for centuries until now. The destruction of Vialtor had sent a pulse through the cosmic web, a signal older than humanity itself. Deep within the station, something ancient awoke. A single eye of golden light opened in the dark. A voice whispered through static. Signal detected. Human anomaly confirmed. Phase 2 begins. Then silence again. Back aboard the Horizon Dawn, Elias stood alone in his quarters, staring at an old photo. Earth before the wars. Blue oceans. Green forests. A home long gone. Mara's voice came over the intercom. "Commander, fleet is ready for jump. Destination?" Elias looked at the photo one last time and whispered, "Home." Then he straightened, his voice strong again. "Set course for Sol. Let's bring humanity home." The ship's engines roared to life. The stars stretched into streaks of light as the Horizon Dawn disappeared into the endless dark. Behind them, the galaxy remained silent, watching, waiting, and remembering. Because when humanity fought back, the galaxy burned in silence,